For sure.
Now, let's get into it.
Let's talk about it, baby.
Our ELLIE House game of the week.
You know it.
Cincinnati Anderson.
You know it.
Versus the Avon Eagles. Now, we spoke about Avon earlier.
You know it.
You were high on Avon early in the season.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You were saying that, you know, the team that they got this year, this was the year that they probably, you know, you called it early, Coach.
I felt like this was their best team they had, and they had good teams. You know what I mean? So that's saying a lot. They had a really good tailback they lost last year, Jacorian Caffey. I think that's his name. Hopefully, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's his name. I felt like they lost him, but I felt like all in all, this was going to be the best team Coach Mike Elder has had there. And it was kind of the same as what I felt about Walsh Jesuit. Somebody was going to have to kick that door down to get through Hovind, eventually to get to the D2 state championship game. All in all, it started with the quarterback. You know, when you look at Avon, everything starts with the quarterback for the most part, Nolan Good. So, like you said, I kind of seen it earlier in the year. I'm not surprised at all. They're here. They just got to go get it done. I'm going to jump into Avon second. I'm going to jump into Cincinnati Anderson first. They coming off a win last week against Big Walnut, 28-24. Coach Evan Dreyer and the staff is doing an amazing job. Offensively, the Raptors. I ain't used to that. You know, this might be the first high school football team I've heard of or seen that's called the Raptors. So the Raptors are led offensively by senior running back, district offensive player of the year, Justice Burnham, senior running back, Darrell Turner. So they got a dynamic duo at running back. They got a Division I wide receiver athlete, Trace Jellick. He's playing like a receiver. He could be a tight end maybe at the next level, but he's a receiver in high school, big-time player. University of Central Florida commit, Caden Penny. He plays tight end. Big kid, 6'4", about 240. So he had tight end, and up front they led by senior Cam Mathis. So offensively, they got a lot of talented dual threat at running back, big-time receiver, big-time tight end, and a good offensive line. So they kind of check all the boxes as far as a good offense. Defensively, they led by 2 Division I corners. We just talked about one, and Ace Austin. They also have one in Jayon Saunders. He's going to Mercyhurst, which is an FCS school. We talked about sophomore Division I linebacker Antoine Higgins. And then also they got a senior defensive lineman in Alex Stanyard that kind of lead the defensive line. So they're loaded. They got a stick, kind of what I've been saying all year about some of this team. They got a stick. When you watch them play, the super athletic team, fly to the football on defense, looking to hit you. They like to send pressure. Sorry, it's going to be constant pressure. Anytime you playing a 3-4 team, they're a base 3-4 team. They like to send pressures at you, different type of exotic pressures. In the back end, sometimes they play man, sometimes they play zone. So they kind of mix it up and give you a little bit of everything. And offensively, they want to try to run the ball down your throat with these 2 good running backs we got. And if you get too nosy, we could throw this ball down the field to Trace, or we got a big-time tight end that if you playing him with a linebacker or safety, we could throw the ball to him in one-on-one matchups after we play action and put this ball in the running back's belly. So Avon going to have a big test on their hands. So shout out to Cincinnati Anderson. Good luck to y'all this week. Coach Evan Dreyer and the staff do an amazing job. So shout out to y'all and good luck to y'all this week. Now talking about Avon, like you said, I kind of felt like this was going to be Avon's best chance to get to the state championship game because I felt like this was their best team. Coach Mike Elder is doing a great job, district coach of the year. So shout out to coach and his staff. He do an amazing job. But like I said, it all started with Kent State commit Nolan Good. Nolan's playing big-time football. And for a kid that's had a great career like he's having, to say this is his best year is saying a lot because he's been playing good football his whole career. Up front, they got 2 good offensive linemen that kind of lead the way. Connor Bingham and Jeremiah Kelly, they kind of lead that group. They got a good offensive line. They got a big tight end and Ty Beerholm. Sorry about that, Ty. Sorry about that. If I messed up your name, I'm sorry about that. But he's a big-time tight end. He can make plays. He's good in the run game. He can also make plays in the passing game. So they got a big-time tight end. They got a couple different running backs. They got 2 or 3 running backs they could throw at you, also counting Nolan Good, who can make plays with his feet. So offensively, they kind of check all the boxes. And then that receiver, they got 2 good receivers, senior receiver Cole Kepner, and then we talked about Matt Maxey last week on the Stella Stock Report. I feel like Matt is the best route runner we got in Northeast Ohio. So, them guys going to have a big test on their hand going against Cincinnati Anderson and their 2 corners we talked about. But all in all, offensively, Avon check all the boxes. Defensively, defensive lineman Sam Toniolo. Defensive lineman Jason Gillespie, they kind of lead the way up front. Defensive line, they get after it. They're tough. They like to, multiple fronts. They can kind of control the line of scrimmage. They don't want you to run the ball, as in any defense don't want you to do. They don't want you to run the ball. At the second level, Owen Garcia and Ryan Storlowski, who we talked about earlier in the year on the Stella Stock Report, they kind of plug in the hole, sideline to sideline. They can also make plays in the backfield. They can also blitz. And then also on defense, they got a Swiss Army knife in Tyler Kaufman. So defensively, they kind of check all the boxes. And then we know in the back end, they led by the 4-star DB, Jacob Weatherspoon, who we also talked about on the Stella Stock Report at some point this year. So just to recap, like we did on Anderson, they got to stick. Both teams got to stick. Both teams got good coaching staffs. Both teams got college recruits. Both teams got, pretty much everything you need. They check all the boxes. At the end of the day, it just comes down to this. What team is going to play the best on Thursday night? At this point, both teams deserve to win it. Both teams are good enough. Both team staffs are good enough. Administrations, fan following, all of that. They check all the boxes. But who's going to play the best on Thursday night? That's what it's going to come down to. You know what I mean? And then you got to break it down in the simplest form. You got to take it down to this. Penalties, ball security. Who's going to win the line of scrimmage? Whose special team is going to play best? Who's going to tackle the best? What coaching staff is going to make the best halftime adjustments? And then lastly, which team's best players are going to play best?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you kind of throw all them things in the bottle, shake it up, at the end of the day, that's who eventually going to win the Division II state championship. It's going to be a big-time game. Help us out, man. If you can get our face into place, we trying to get in there, man. Because I definitely want to be in there for that one, Division II state championship game. It's going to be a big-time game between the Avon Eagles and the Cincinnati Anderson Raptors. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
We don't usually do this, but it is state championship week. So Give me a prediction, Coach. Put you on the spot.
The D2 game?
D2 game, our early house game of the week. Coach Stella's pick. Give us a prediction, Coach.
I go Avon 24-17. Avon 24-17.
Avon 24-17?
Avon 24-17. No disrespect to the Cincinnati Anderson Raptors. No disrespect.
Right. And we don't typically.
Yeah, that's why we normally don't do predictions. You know what I mean? But you put me on the spot. You asked me, so I'm answer.
I'm a definitely. I appreciate that.
I say 24-17 Avon. And I say when it's all said and done, I say Nolan Good is the player of the game, and Nolan Good is the kid that kind of got him across the finish line and helped him get it done. So I hope we in the place. I'm excited, bro.
Indeed,
good luck
man.
To both sides, man. Good luck to both sides, man.
And that's our Ellie House game of the week.
You know it.
State championship.
You know it. We here, bro.
Man.
We here.
It's that time.
Help us out. We want to have our face in the place, man. If you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, tell them to call Coach Stella.
One time.
L up.
For sure. All right, it's time for our overtime segment.
You know it.
It's Mario Manningham. Stay locked in between the lines with Coach Stella.